What's good, fam? Kendrick Lamar just officially evicted Drake from the record books by hitting 2 billion streams on Not Like Us faster than any rapper in history. And seeing the boy Drake respond with a 100-page legal temper tantrum is exactly the kind of nasty work we expected. On August 3rd of 2026, the entire industry felt a massive shift when that Spotify counter finally rolled over. Kendrick did more than hit a milestone. He destroyed the record previously held by Lil Nas X and his track Industry Baby. He is now the fastest rapper to ever reach 2 billion streams on a single song.
As you might remember, he filed a lawsuit against them, alleging they utilized irregular promotional tactics and violated their contract. He believed they used the musical feud between him and Kendrick to artificially devalue him.
And so, again, he has been releasing music, but this being his first album entirely himself since then is going to be of much interest.
This is a tough pill for the OVO camp to swallow because their whole argument for the last 10 years was built on streaming numbers and pure commercial power. For a long time, Drake used those chart positions as a shield to hide the fact that he was getting out rapped. But the man from Compton just cracked that shield wide open. Kendrick dominates the exact game Drake used to own, and that proves a real cultural anthem will always be the manufactured hit in the long run. While people were waiting to see if Kendrick could keep his momentum after the battle, he turned a diss track into the global phenomenon that is still playing in every stadium from Los Angeles to Tokyo. This cultural takeover happened while the industry was still trying to figure out if it was even safe to move on from the beef yet.
I mean, let's just call it what it is, the Kendrick-Drake.
But what we heard subsequently was that Kendrick was invited to participate in First Person Shooter, but he declined because he felt that he and Drake still had some issues to resolve because they have done some subliminal beefs shots to each other. To which he got on a song with Future and Metro Boomin on Future Metro Boomin's project, and he delivered a verse where he just said, there is no three.
As long as there has been rap, we have had rap beefs. If you've been on social media at all recently, you've probably seen this latest one. ABC News contributor and Sirius XM radio host Mike Muse joins us now to break it all down.
The contrast between these two situations is getting embarrassing for the boy in Toronto. While Kendrick is out here collecting historic plaques, Drake wastes his time filing 117 pages of legal appeals for a defamation lawsuit that already got tossed out of court. One man is busy making history and the other is busy making excuses, and that tells you who actually won the war. Kendrick is effectively removing Drake from the top of the charts by showing he can deliver high-level lyricism and massive sales at the same time. This 2 billion stream milestone is the proof that the people did not just choose a side for one summer, they chose a side for the history books. And Kendrick is the one writing the chapters now.
You know, for a long time I was just doing what we was doing in the neighborhood and not really having my own mental state on how things work. So it was actually me becoming a man and standing for something a little bit more than the streets.
We are now moving into what fans and insiders are calling the boxing era, and the energy around Kendrick Lamar is reaching a fever pitch that feels like a title fight. This theory did not just appear out of nowhere because Kendrick has been leaving clues for us since the 2026 Grammy Awards. You probably remember him showing up to the ceremony wearing boxing hand wraps under his suit like he was ready to step into the ring. He secured 5 awards that night, including Best Rap Album for GNX. But those hand wraps sent a message that was louder than any trophy. It was a signal that Kendrick is staying in championship camp and that he is not done throwing punches, even if his opponent is already on the canvas.
Then later on that afternoon on Saturday around 7 p.m., Not Like Us comes out by Kendrick. So Kendrick doubles down. So within 36 hours, Kendrick dropped 3 diss records against Drake.
Music for this new era is starting to surface and the hype is unbelievable. We got a taste of the future on July 20th of 2026 when DJ Dahi previewed a new track called How to Pray on Childish Gambino's Gilga radio station. This song features Amber Mark and it is officially scheduled to drop on August 28th of 2026. People are describing this track as a major artistic shift, which proves Kendrick is not going to wait around for Drake to respond to the last round of disses. Instead, he is moving forward with a surgical rollout designed to dominate the rest of the year.
Honestly, brothers, there's really a lot of gangster rap and a lot of oldies I grew up on the West Coast. It reflects on my music because I use a lot of melodies and a lot of old rhythms.
Insiders like Hitter J3 and Dave Free have been dropping hints about a full boxing-themed project that is rumored to arrive in October of 2026. Kendrick is treating the rap game like a 12-round technical masterclass, where he already secured the knockout but wants to show off his footwork for the rest of the fight. This move from a defensive battle to a total offensive takeover shows that Kendrick wants to redefine the entire landscape of hip-hop for the next decade. While Drake is stuck in the past trying to argue about why he lost his spot, Kendrick is in the gym preparing to deliver the final blow to Drake's relevance with a calculated and massive rollout. The boxing era is going to be a problem for anyone who thought the West Coast was taking a break.
Again, I won't say which side I took.
I think you have to tell us which side you're on.
Look,
No?
I do like West Coast rap.
Kendrick is showing us that he is a prize fighter who stays ready, and the industry is finally waking up to the reality that the belt is not going back to Toronto. Kendrick is sharpening his blades for the boxing era, but Drake is drowning in paperwork and legal fees because he refuses to accept the reality of his situation. Watching a man who called himself the Sixth God file a 117-page appeal for a joke of a lawsuit is embarrassing for the whole culture. Universal Music Group had enough of the nonsense by March of 2026, so they filed a legal brief that officially labeled Drake a sore loser. It is wild to see a high-level artist acting so childish that his own label has to tell a judge he cannot handle the fallout from a diss track.
As you might remember, he filed a lawsuit against them, alleging they utilized irregular promotional tactics and violated their contract. He believed they used the musical feud between him and Kendrick to artificially devalue him. UMG completely denied the allegations and firmly claimed they had no involvement. But Drake would not let go of this claim, and even after his filing was dismissed by the courts, he refiled the litigation.
Drake claims that UMG defamed him by promoting Not Like Us, but everyone knows this is just a massive cope for losing the cultural war. He had no response for Kendrick on the microphone, so he went to the courtroom, which is the most un-hip-hop move anyone could possibly make. The irony is deep, since Drake is suing the same label infrastructure that Kendrick is using to break every streaming record in history. This looks like a professional athlete suing the league because the other team scored too many points and made him look bad on national television. This legal strategy will not save his legacy, and it actually makes his eviction from the top spot feel permanent. When your own business partners call out your bozo behavior in public documents, you have lost the plot and the respect of the industry.
Then later on that afternoon on Saturday around 7 p.m., Not Like Us comes out by Kendrick. So Kendrick doubles down. So within 36 hours, Kendrick dropped 3 diss records against Drake.
Before we move on and see how Kendrick turned the Grammys into his personal victory lap, tell me what y'all think about this legal mess. Is Drake really a victim of some industry plot, or is suing your competition the most un-hip-hop move of all time? Put it in the comments and hit that like and subscribe while you at it. No cap. Let's keep it moving. The drama goes beyond the lawsuits, and the gap in their trophy cases is starting to look like a canyon that can never be closed. February 1st, 2026 is the day Kendrick Lamar became the undisputed king of the rap game in the eyes of the world. He took home 5 Grammys in a single night, including Best Rap Album for GNX, which was a project that redefined modern hip-hop. Those 5 wins brought his career total to 27 trophies, which officially pushed him past the 25 wins held by Jay-Z. Kendrick reached a level of greatness most artists cannot even imagine, and he did it without chasing pop trends or radio hits. He secured Record of the Year for Luther and Best Rap Performance for Chains and Whips, proving he can win in both technical and general categories. The situation is simple, because Kendrick is not just better in a battle, and the 2026 statistics prove he is the greatest to ever do it. The GNX era was massive, and the Grand National Tour went on to gross $358 million. That financial dominance and critical acclaim has solidified Kendrick in a position that is completely untouchable by anyone else in the game.
For a long time, I was just doing what we doing in the neighborhood and not really having my own mental state on how things work. So it was actually me becoming a man and, standing for something a little bit more than the streets.
He has moved past the conversation of who is best right now and joined the conversation of who is the greatest of all time. Drake is left in the rearview mirror with nothing but a pile of legal documents and a bruised ego that just will not quit. Kendrick is not just winning in the booth or on the charts, he is winning in the streets by showing everyone what real leadership looks like. While Drake spends his summer in a dark room with lawyers trying to sue his way back to the top, Kendrick is making moves that actually change lives. On July 31st, 2026, we saw exactly why Kendrick is the heart of this culture when he called a 7-year-old boy named Romel Frazier Jr. for his birthday. This young king from Detroit has dealt with a massive tragedy after losing his arms in a dog attack. But Kendrick did not just send some generic picture. He got on the phone and personally invited the boy and his family to Los Angeles to make a specific birthday wish come true. That is the difference between a man who knows his legacy is safe and one who is desperate to save his ego at any cost. Kendrick is winning the soul of the culture because he shows up for the people who look up to him, while Drake stays isolated and lashes out at the industry. You cannot buy the kind of respect that Kendrick earned with that one phone call, and no amount of bot farms or fake streaming numbers can replace a real connection. Drake is stuck in a loop of public meltdowns and legal fights that make him look smaller every day. Meanwhile, Kendrick moves with the power of a champion who knows his work speaks for itself.
But what we heard subsequently was that Kendrick was invited to participate in first-person shooter, but he declined because he felt that he and Drake still had some issues to resolve because they have done some subliminal beefs, shots to each other. To which he got on a song with Future and Metro Boomin on Future and Metro Boomin's project, and he delivered a verse where he just said, there is no Big Three.
A final prediction for this whole situation is that the release of How to Pray on August 28th will be the final nail in the coffin for Drake. Kendrick is already 3 steps ahead of the game, and by the time Drake realizes he lost, the boxing era will have already set a new standard for greatness. Drake thought he was the one controlling the weather, but Kendrick just proved the sun is setting on the OVO era for good. Before we move on and see how this new project shifts the entire scene on the West Coast again, tell me your thoughts in the comments. I want to know if you think Kendrick is officially the greatest rapper of all time since he passed Jay-Z and Grammy wins. Tell me your thoughts. No cap, and make sure you like and subscribe while you are at it. Let's keep it moving. The reality of 2026 is that the numbers do not lie, and the culture has already made its choice. Drake can file every appeal his lawyers can think of, but he cannot change the fact that Kendrick Lamar is the most dominant force in music right now. From the 2 billion streams on a single diss track to the 27 Grammy trophies on his shelf, the stats are finally matching the skill we always knew was there. Kendrick did not just win a beef, he performed a cultural eviction that forced the whole industry to admit the old way of doing things is over.
I mean, let's just call it what it is. The Kendrick Drake.
The celebrity worship Drake built his whole career on is being replaced by a more grounded version of hip-hop that Kendrick represents. We are watching an artist at his absolute peak get his flowers while they are still fresh, and the shadow he is casting over everyone else is impossible to ignore. Drake had a legendary run, but every empire eventually falls, and the fall of the Sixth God is being televised through every record Kendrick breaks. The boxing era is not just an album title, it is a statement that Kendrick is here to stay, and he is not stopping until every record belongs to him. Everything we see right now points to a future where Kendrick is the North Star of the genre, while Drake is left wondering where it all went wrong. The gap in quality and character has never been more obvious to the public than it is at this very moment. Kendrick is moving with a purpose that goes way beyond a simple rap beef, and that is why he is the one holding the crown in 2026.